Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
But before that, it's Monday, and that means it's time for Midcap Mania. Nigel D'Souza is here. Nigel, which stock today?
Well, everyone's been talking about ancillaries. So I said, let's look at an ancillary to the tourism, the aviation, as well as improving your style of living. If you take a look at the tourism industry, well, that's grown very, very well. And it's expected to grow at a similar pace for the next decade as well. In terms of the aviation industry as well, the number of passengers have gone up. And that trend as well is likely to go up. This is in million passengers, in fact. And just taking a look, really, last week itself, there were reports that indicated that the Delhi airport now is even busier than, in fact, the New York airport. So that's giving you a sense that India is really growing and progressing. And not just that, even the working class Indian gentleman, just a few years ago, this is Mr. Gopal. He used to go to work with a small bag in his hand. Now he's getting a little more trendy. He wants a backpack. He wants to put that sling bag. So getting to the point, then you'll say, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the luggage industry. If you take a look at what's happened in the last few years, the luggage industry has grown from around a 4,500 crore to around a 9,000 crore market, and it's expected to grow going ahead as well. But let's get further into the luggage industry. Well, if you break it up, 40% is organized and 60% is unorganized. That's telling you really that there was an opportunity with GST implementation. Can the organized eat into the unorganized? But getting further into the organized sector then, we all know VIP, that's the big boy in there. It has 50% of the market cap. Samsonite has nearly around what? Around 35% of the market, not market cap. And in fact, you have Safari. That's the smaller player in there. It has roughly around 10% of the market. And that's the stock really that we are focusing on. Remember, if you just take a look at the last 1 month, both those two stocks have had a big run, both VIP as well as Safari. So something's going on there. They're up more than 20-25% just in the last 1 month. And Safari, in fact, it's been a big multi-bagger already. So it's not coming at cheap valuations. In fact, the valuations are rather high if you look at it closely. These are some of their bags, in fact, that they do manufacture as well. Some of those pictures should be up for you on the screen. They have some of these smaller brands. They have a Magnum as well. That's for more affordability. And Genius and Ginny, that's the other couple of brands. But getting back then to what luggage do they make? The hard luggage, that was in trend some time back. Now the majority of luggage that we see is the soft luggage. That's more trading business. You buy the luggage and you sell it in India. The hard luggage, that's what's manufactured in India. In terms of valuations, well, VIP and Safari both trading at around 40 to around 45 times. On a forward basis, well, VIP is expected to do a profit of around 125 crores. Safari could do roughly around 25 to around 30 crores odd. But in terms of market cap to sales, well, there, Safari is a little cheaper. Obviously, it's a smaller brand. So that's why, in fact, it's trading at around 2.5 to around 2.6 times odd. But quickly, if you just move forward then, if you take a look at the way they've grown it, well, 60 crores was the sales that they did in 2012. Now they're expected in this year to do nearly around 400 crores. So it's been giving you good growth in the last few years. But if you just look at who is heading this company, it's being headed by Mr. Jatia. He used to be the former MD of VIP Industries, and now he's in charge of this company. He has still close to around 1.5% stake in VIP. That's valued at roughly around 75 crores. So the person at the helm really, he knows the industry very, very well. What are the triggers going ahead? Improve visibility. I don't see a Safari bag when I go to a shopper stop. So can they get those bags to be placed over there? Higher penetration into the backpack segment. That's a fast growing segment. Can they give competition to a Skybags mainly? And maybe in fact the cash conversion as well. It was nearly around 140 days. It's come down to around 100 days. So can that happen? And focus on premiumization. Currently, ad spends are only around 2.5% of the total sales. VIP spends nearly around 6 to 7% in terms of ad spends. So that's going to be a critical factor. And how can they manage their margins as well? Promoter holding, that in fact is up for you on the screen. That's of December 2017. Promoter at around 58%. You have Tano India Private Equity. They have been investors for ages now. But in the last quarter, they sold a small chunk, roughly around 3%. We had Mr. Ronnie Screwvala that bought roughly around 3 lakh shares. And you also had another big fund that were allotted some shares. They, in fact, bought nearly around 6 lakh shares. That's Malabar that had bought over there. So an interesting story. It's an ancillary play really going ahead. So we'll have to keep an eye out on this stock going ahead as well.
Okay. It's an excellent analysis, Nigel, but I think there was one very important graph missing. What about holidays granted by companies? And when you do that survey, don't include TV18.
No, actually, Lata, I was going to start off with that, but I said, let's keep it safe because I'm going to be coming to you for my holidays later this year. So,
Why do you think he's, talking about
Building
buying bags and, people are transitioning to more airlines?
I'll just give you all one more data point. I reached out to a lot of these luggage manufacturers and they say, how many times does a male go ahead and change their bag? So I said, well, maybe once in 2-3 years. They said, ask your wife. She must be changing it at least 3 to 4 times. So the ladies' bag segment or ladies' luggage segment, that's really penetrating and running away. So.
Hey, luggage is different, yeah. Bags you can buy. I don't know.
No, bags, luggage, everything.
Buy bag, okay.
All right.